From the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. I sure feel the pang of this truth. And as you can imagine, a priest is thrust into some of life's most trying moments. The loss of a job, shattered hopes, emotional breakups, separation of spouses, devastating diagnoses, financial hardships, drug addiction, sexual addictions, alcoholism, tragic deaths of friends, spouses, and even children. What do you say in such moments? I often think if only my heart had been a little more full, well, my mouth would have had just a little more to work with. Maybe you feel that too from time to time, wanting to offer to a friend something more when they're experiencing a loss, or something more to a child struggling and in need. From the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Our gospel today introduces this truth with Jesus' words about a worthy or an unworthy guide. Can a blind man guide a blind man? But it seems that Jesus is linking being a good guide, being able to see, with a full heart that speaks the good things that people need to hear. And conversely, he's linking blindness with a heart that's not so full, and a mouth that's not so helpful. Blindness reminded me of my brother who's an eye doctor. So I texted him the other day. I said, hey, I need your help. I'm working on a homily. Don't let me down. I said, what are the causes of blindness? And he said, well, macular degeneration and diabetes are the biggies and the hardest to treat. Vitamins and diet can help slow its progress. Cataracts, he said, are very common and usually very treatable. Crossed eye, lazy eye conditions in childhood. He said that if they go untreated, don't allow the visual system to develop and make the person legally blind. And then he said, of course, well, there's trauma, injury. Then he added this most interesting comment. He said, most people think of blindness as lights out darkness, which is precisely how I had envisioned it. Nothing. He said, but that's usually not the case. He said it's severely reduced acuity, no detail, but light in vague form still persists. That's fascinating, isn't it? So if you think blindness is only total darkness, then you could be walking or driving around thinking you're fine when you're actually blind. I'm not blind, you're the blind one. But all you can really see are just vague forms, shadowy figures. Now, Jesus was the one who used the analogy of ocular blindness. He used the example of the human body to help us understand the human heart, the source from which we speak. So when I read my brother's message, I thought, well, some causes of blindness are genetic. That's like original sin's impact, inclining us to sin, to blindness. Some causes could be rectified by those more spiritually mature, parents helping their lazy-eyed child, so to speak. Some causes of blindness grow slowly, almost imperceptibly, like cataracts. Some are immediate and long-lasting, like trauma. How helpful it seems to me to hear this gospel as we enter into Lent this coming week. Of course, you're going to abstain from meat on Ash Wednesday and all the Fridays of Lent, but what are you going to do to fill up your heart so you're more helpful to those around you and, quite frankly, more at peace with yourself? Where is blindness slowly creeping in like a cataract? I mean, for many, many people, this is your phone. Wasting too much time on content which doesn't enhance your ability to help a lazy-eyed child. And if you doubt that children carry the deficiencies of their parents, just ask any priest who's heard confessions. Failing to be proactive or thoughtfully involved, and then their life is just less than what it could be. Maybe it's fortifying your spiritual diet to ward off degeneration by attending Stations of the Cross, or a weekday mass, or doing some spiritual reading. Maybe it's avoiding traumatic, negative influences in person or online, which impair our spiritual vision. Friends, it seems to me that the key text from today's gospel is when Jesus said, when fully trained, every disciple will be like his teacher. So the question becomes ultimately, what in your heart needs to become more like his so that you can better see and speak and bear the good fruit of which you are so capable of producing?